And everywhere I speak, I talk about the fact, and you all know this, if in fact someone is released from prison and they do not have a marketable skill, what is going to happen? I mean, is that rocket science? It is not. They're going to end right back up in the prison. But we know that if we send them on their way with a marketable skill, that recidivism rate drops to 30 or 35%. So we are working mightily to address that incarcerated population, which is sizable in the state of Alabama, which is probably true for yours as well. We are working with Commerce and with a number of other entities to really launch and participate in a PR campaign to make sure that the message we send about these career tech jobs are different than what most people think. We still fight in this state some stereotypes about what it means to go into a technical area, and I think probably most of you do as well. Again, I think we're beginning to see some movement on that front. The program that Laura discussed just a moment ago, that begins to make a difference in the minds of parents and students. But we still have a good bit of work to do. We participate in the Career Coach initiative as well. Both the two-year system as well as K-12 have career coaches. We work together in an effort to address all that Josh talked about, and I'm not going to go back through that. We participate, I'm going to hit just briefly, in a program in Alabama called Gear Up Alabama. It is an effort to address the poorest of the poor in the Black Belt. Gear Up regions desperately need education. And in fact, we're working with a very sizable grant that the University of Alabama Birmingham secured, a little less than $50 million. And as a partner, we're going to be providing tuition remission for Gear Up participants. And again, these frankly are individuals that we must do a better job reaching out and serving. And hopefully you'll be hearing more about that in the years to come as we realize some successes in that area. Probably the initiative right now that is one that is probably not has not been publicized or is as clear as I wish it was, because there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. But I'll just say that the community college system is in the process of some consolidations. We have a system at this point, in my opinion, that ranges from one of our institutions that has an enrollment of 13 or 14,000, and another one that may be as low as 500. If you're an institution of 500 or 600, you're not sustainable. We have to change with the times, and we have to make sure that we're creating a system that in fact is sustainable. So we are going through a consolidation process at this point that has mixed reviews at this point, but is absolutely essential and will make us stronger in the long run and will allow us to better serve our students. It actually is going to allow us, when you look at the metrics, to expand services to students in areas of the state that we're not serving them very well. And our consolidation process will line up with the regional councils that you heard Laura talk about, and a number of other agencies. So we are all coordinated throughout the state. And again, that's a Whitman sampler of a very large project. But we are convinced once that's in place, we're going to do a much better job serving business and industry. So, Tim, let me stop there.
All right, thank you, Chancellor. Before I go on with any of my questions, I want to make sure that we allow an opportunity. Are there any people in the audience that would like to ask a question, make a comment related to anything that's been said? No charge. Okay, then let me mention also, before we wrap up in a moment, some of our major workforce system partners could not be here, including Alabama Technology Network. Doug Jensen has an injury that he's dealing with. The Department of Labor head had already committed for presentation at another meeting, but our career centers and certainly the Alabama Technology Network, and we have some representatives here, are a big part of this. And the Chancellor mentioned adult education. They are a major partner. David Walters is here somewhere. We brought this year, as part of our reorganization plans, we brought the adult education program into our workforce development arena, not to diminish it, but to enhance its viability and importance. And because we really do want to more fully integrate adult education into not being just a GED prep program, although that's at the heart and soul of what we have done and will continue to do, but also make it a first step on a career pathways program, whether that be for additional education or for moving directly into employment or some kind of internship or anywhere along that earn and learn continuum for employment. So wanted to mention that before we go on. Talk about, Ed, if you would for a minute, what our Workforce Council is doing in relation to branding our system and marketing our system and marketing those high growth, high demand, high pay jobs that we're all talking about, and then we'll wrap it up.
Thanks, Tim. Governor Bentley, a couple of years ago now, I think, when the Chancellor appointed a group of business people to what we call the Alabama Workforce Council. And we're talking about CEOs, presidents of several large companies in the state. I think there's probably close to 40 or so members that are represented from all walks of business across the state and all geographic locations. As a matter of fact, George Clark, who's in the room back there, is our vice chair of that very council. And what the governor assembled them for is to advise him, to advise the chancellor, the superintendent of education, K-12, and we in the Department of Commerce on workforce programs, education programs, what their needs are technically. And just to take a step further with that, those regions that Laura represents are the on-the-ground regions in all the local areas that help feed up that information to the council. They are also, I think, 75% business people. So we've got a large contingent of businesses across the state involved in our programs, helping us to determine what the need is. What we've also discovered, and among that, is that a lot of folks don't know about 90% of what we offer, whether it's in the two-year system or it's in K-12 or in Region 9, or maybe even part of the Department of Commerce. So one of the recommendations of the 10 or 15 that's now been recommended over a couple of years is a branding and marketing campaign. So we have an RFP out there right now, about to hire a professional firm to help the state of Alabama develop what we could be called the Alabama Workforce System, and with that, with all of our partners, and Tim mentioned several, we'll all be focused on the same marketing and branding campaign, all with our individual logos and identities certainly, but what our goal is for any citizen to be able to go on the portal or on the website and within a couple of clicks find their answer, whether it's a skill they're looking for or a career they want to get into and how you get there. If it's a business, they can get on that website in a couple of clicks and find the need that they don't, to solve a need they may have inside their business. And then for the agencies or the providers to be able to get on there within a couple of clicks and find the data they need for various programming and funding potentials. So it's more than just, hey, look at here's our logo. It's really a full comprehensive branding and marketing process that we hope within just maybe 12 to 18 months will be fully engulfed in, and our citizens will have what they're looking for.
Okay, thanks. If you will indulge me before we close out, there's just something that I would like to do. if our out-of-state friends will bear with me and help me do this. All these programs and activities and initiatives that we talk about, as you know, don't amount to a hill of beans if the people, many of whom are in this room, that lead those at the local level and those career tech instructors in the shops and the classrooms and laboratories throughout our state and all of our partners and the work they do. If you're engaged in Alabama in workforce development in any way, would you just please stand and let us give you a round of applause while we have the opportunity to do so for doing all these things that have been described up here? Please stand. Let's thank them. Thank you for allowing me to embarrass you, but that's sincere. I think that takes, did I ever tell you what the plural of y'all is? I got off on y'all's, as I don't think I ever even told you. All the Southerners know this. The plural of y'all is all y'all. So, and you thought you weren't going to learn anything this morning, see? Thank you all for your kind attention. We're going to ask Sandra to come back up and give you instructions about the breakout sessions. Please join me in thanking our panel, and thank you all very much.
Y'all did a great job. Did I say that with my Minnesota lilt? Y'all did. Thank you very much. Outstanding. And this will be a podcast, so you can pick it up on the website. And if you want to play it at a meeting, I'll also have highlights of it in the journal. And when you attend an ATEA national meeting, you become a member. And part of being a member is you get a hard copy journal and access to past journals PDF. So thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. That was terrific. Now, the activities begin, the breakout sessions, and I want to explain how this works. This ballroom is going to be broken down into 3 breakout sessions after we leave, and that is why